This is the news for November the 22nd, 2021. And boy, the biggest news rolled out over the past week. Before we do jump into that really big news, I think it's important that I go ahead and just take a moment to shamelessly plug the Amazon Self-Publisher. It's the holiday season, folks. Why don't you get yourself a nice little gift here by way of the Amazon Self-Publisher, how to sell more books on Amazon. If you are self-publishing on the Amazon platform, then this is the manuscript for you. This is the book that you need in your hands. To get a hold of that, you go over to dalelinks.com/selfpubbook and get yourself a copy today. And by the way, if you end up getting a copy, I have for a limited time some award-winning seals. If you reach out to me at dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com, I will personally mail you one of those seals as well as a extra little something and such. And I'm not going to do anything with your addresses. All right, let's get into the news, because here is the very first item in the news coming from Draft to Digital. They said this year in the U.S., our Thanksgiving holiday falls on Thursday, November 25th. In observance of this holiday, they are going to be taking off from about Wednesday, November 24th, all the way to Monday, November 29th. The digital stores we work with will operate on a very similar schedule, so you'll want to plan releases accordingly. I see a lot of times some people wait to the very last minute to, order proofs or upload or update a book, and then they get angry and upset when it comes to holidays like this. Folks, please have a little grace when you're reaching out to any publishing platform, and understand that it is a very hectic time of year, and chances are likely if you're pushing things to the last minute, there's other people pushing things to the last minute, and I would not recommend pushing it to the last minute when it comes up to the holiday here this coming Thursday, November 25th, going all the way through the weekend. And I would imagine those type of hours are going to probably apply across most of the self-publishing platforms that are out there. All right, speaking of self-publishing platforms, why not talk a little bit about Kobo Writing Life? Actually, Kobo just went ahead and said the same thing: holiday processing and support times. We advise that all assets, Word docs, EPUBs, covers, ebooks, MP3 covers, and audiobooks be uploaded on or before the end of Friday, December 17th, in order to ensure all new titles and promotional pricing scheduled for this period are available on the site. So just be aware, folks. You want to plan well in advance. I never recommend publishing a book in Q4, especially into November and December, because it can be somewhat tricky. So be very careful when you're planning any type of launch schedule around November, December. Plan for delays, because it will happen. The biggest news. It's a big bombshell. We heard a little bit about it last week, but now it is 100% official. Findaway Voices and Spotify. Spotify just bought up the entire Findaway company. Now, not many people realize Findaway Voices is just essentially one model that functions underneath Findaway, because Findaway is an audiobook company in general that specializes in a number of audiobook distribution avenues. Well, Spotify said they were going to be breaking into audiobooks, and they were not kidding when they picked up the Ohio-based company of Findaway. And Findaway Voices just announced it through their press release. With much of the buzz from last week's announcement focused on Findaway, here are some details about the pending acquisition means specifically for Findaway Voices. Wide distribution. Findaway Voices remains a wide distribution service. Okay, they got about 41 different avenues, partnering with more than 40 retail and library partners globally. When you distribute your audiobook with Findaway Voices, you're choosing to go wide and participate in a healthy, broad ecosystem of audiobooks. This is something that makes Findaway Voices unique and powerful in the industry, and Spotify makes our wide distribution even bigger and better. That is huge. Huge that they were able to not only get acquired by Spotify, but get Spotify distribution. What? So they go on to further say Spotify audiobooks. Spotify plans to launch audiobooks, but it's still early and the exact details have not yet been announced. Spotify currently has no plans to offer audiobooks as a singular full catalog subscription. Just as the Spotify podcast offering differs from the Spotify music offering, the audiobook offering will pursue models that specifically fit listeners' and authors' needs. More details will come closer to a launch. Wow. This is really, really, really big news, and it has many implications in place. In fact, I do plan to do a deep dive podcast discussing what are the implications, what can we possibly expect, and tossing out a few theories that I've heard so far, because we've run into some real issues when it came to ACX and the Audible-gate scandal that started in October of last year and continues to run. And people are looking over at Findaway Voices, but now that Spotify has kind of come into the equation, is this going to be good or is it going to be bad? Because Spotify is notorious for paying out cents on the dollar when it comes to listens on their platform. Is this something we can expect as audiobook copyright or rights holders? We'll see. Speaking of Findaway Voices, man, the news isn't over for them, because they now have a new marketplace feature, add narrators directly to casting lists. This is pretty big because previously, when you go to Findaway Voices, if you wanted to get a narrator or author there, you would have it assigned to you. So you would say what your specifications were, what your budget was, and then there was a matchmaker that would match you up. Now they've got a marketplace to where you can actually earmark specific narrators that you would like to work with. So this is pretty big, and I think it's a step in the right direction. There was many people that didn't like how static that was or how inflexible it was, that we had to rely on somebody else to do the matchmaking, unlike over on, say, ACX's platform, to where we could cherry pick. We could pick the narrators that we wanted to work with and negotiate those terms. Findaway, it's totally different. There was the matchmaking element, and on top of that, if there is a per finished hour rate that a narrator charges, it's stuck. It stays there. You can't get a hold of that narrator and say, hey, could you do X amount of dollars PFH? They're probably going to go, no, I can't, because otherwise they got to change all their rates, and then their rates change everywhere. It just doesn't work that way on Findaway Voices. So I see this moving in the right direction. I'd love to continue to see that going towards that way. I've always been a big fan of Findaway Voices, not just because they're in Ohio, because they are an alternative. And boy, we need an alternative right now, especially as ACX is still kind of in dark waters, in my opinion. All right, next item up in the news here. This is fairly interesting. Grammarly raises over $200 million to empower effective communication. Grammarly is the online grammar checker. I've gushed about it in the past, but to be honest with you, I have become a fan of Pro Writing Aid these days. It's not to take away from this, but I want to kind of just share just a little bit more here. Since the company's creation, Grammarly is focused on a singular mission: improving lives by improving communication. This mission, along with our set core values, has always guided our approach to innovation and growth. We're proud to support 30 million people every day while delivering 100 billion writing suggestions to our users. Today, I'm excited to announce a $200 million funding round from new investors, including Bally Gifford and funds and accounts managed by BlackRock, among others. They join us on our journey to transform how people, organizations around the world communicate. Pretty cool. I wish I could add something onto that. I think it's pretty nice. Grammarly, me personally, I'm not a big fan of how they conduct business. There's been numerous times that I've reached out to them and they're like, yeah, we don't need to talk to you. I reach out to a company like Pro Writing Aid. They're very personal. They are willing to work with people. And yeah, that was one of the reasons why I kind of turned away from Grammarly for the longest time. So they've got this funding. What does this mean for their online grammar checker? Well, maybe it will improve. Maybe they'll have some new innovations, something that we could be able to use. We'll see in due time. Stay tuned to this channel and I'll definitely keep you updated. And last but not least is going to be news from ACX. Yeah, I went ahead and did a whole punch down on them. But they are, of course, talking about 2021 holiday submission deadline. It's that time of year again. Friends and family are front of mind. Holiday music wafts from windows, and ACX holiday deadlines are nigh. If you're looking to get new content on sale for the 2021 holiday season, make sure your projects are uploaded to ACX and approved by your production partner for our review by December 6th. Our QA team will have them in available in stores by December 17th. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to probably be a lot of people flooding here. I hope that they got the right amount of staffing so that way they can be able to address any of these type of concerns. So if you're wanting to get your ACX book published in time for the holidays, December 6th is the latest they're saying. I would say probably today would be the absolute best day. So that way you're not waiting and waiting and waiting, and then Christmas goes by and then your book launches in January and you're wondering, well, what the heck? I can't capitalize on this whole thing. What did you think about the news? What are your thoughts about Spotify acquiring Findaway Voices? Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? I'd love to hear from you inside the comments.